I'm giving away this championship belt once I hit 100,000 subscribers, so go ahead and click subscribe today. Welcome back to the Ango Show. I, of course, am Ango. We got a big one for you. I want to kick things off about AEW potentially losing its TV deal. Now, if you follow this channel, and if you remember anything I've ever said about their TV deals, it's that it's always been a great, healthy relationship with Warner Brothers Discovery. And at the past, I said, what would happen if the NBA left Warner Bros. Discovery? Well, in the event that the NBA leaves WBD, then we know AEW would obviously be considered a high priority. The only thing that takes priority over AEW is the fact that TNT, TBS have MLB, NHL, and NBA. But now Dave Meltzer's talking about this, and it got me thinking, because now there's a rumor that Universal might be buying Warner Brothers Discovery. And no, I don't think this is terrible news, but it could definitely change things when it comes to AEW's TV deal. More specifically, Dave Meltzer says the thing is that it's not promising for AEW to get the deal that they would have gotten a year ago because things have changed. And you know it didn't look promising for basically NASCAR getting a smaller increase. NASCAR is a higher priority than WWE, and it's obviously much higher than AEW. It was also noted that AEW deal, their deal that they have with Warner, has a lot to do with the NBA in their deal with Warner Bros. Discovery, because if Warner Bros. Discovery loses if they lose the NBA, and more specifically, there's rumors that the NBA could be coming to NBC and also Peacock. If the NBA leaves Warner Bros. Discovery, this is good news for AEW. Now, in the event that Warner Bros. Discovery gets bought out by Universal, then this is where there could be an issue, because as you guys know, with mergers and stuff like that, executives leave the company. Now, when Warner Bros. Merged with Discovery and they became one big company, it kind of changed things, right? AT&T had Warner Media. They had DirecTV. They had all of these different things, and then we saw it change, and some of those executives were no longer in the company. Therefore, those new executives were people that potentially worked from the Discovery side of things. Those people tend to really like AEW. But if those people do not stick around for Universal, then AEW may not be as valuable, right? So there's two things you have to look at here. Whether or not AEW will have a hard time with their TV deal rights and stuff like that, with their negotiations. One, you have to look at the NBA and their relationship and their TV deal. There's rumors that they are trying to get about $75 billion for their TV rights, which I don't know if there's any credibility to that rumor, but that is something to definitely keep in mind because that's expensive, right? But number two, you have to factor in whether or not Warner Bros. Discovery ends up selling to Universal, or maybe another suitor comes in. In the event that that happens, AEW's leverage could be completely one-sided in their favor or one-sided in the favor of another company. With that being said, this is not me trying to tell you guys that AEW is screwed, and this is not me trying to tell you that things are over for AEW. This is just me telling you that the reality is that AEW is not the priority for Warner Bros. Discovery at this time. Doesn't mean that the relationship is bad. It doesn't mean that they hate them. It doesn't mean that there's issues there. It just means that there's obviously other things that take precedence over it. And when you look at AEW, they're doing just fine the way that things are going, so you obviously want to see that continue. I do want to talk a little bit about Baron Corbin. I thought this was actually really cool for a variety of reasons. So there was a new interview with Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, and basically Baron Corbin was talking about his experience in WWE, going from the JBL storyline on the main roster to then being drafted as a free agent, and then deciding ultimately to stay specifically on NXT. When he did this, he said something very interesting. He said, so because I was also working Cameron Grimes at the time on SmackDown, I was doing NXT and SmackDown. I would just love to be here. Let's redo my character. Let me tell you what I think I am. And Shawn Michaels basically was like, I love that. Let's do you. And then he says the magic words, you have full control, essentially, on what you want to do. And they keep me, he just has to keep them in the parameters, right? But Baron Corbin says they're letting me just kind of reinvent myself as me, and I think we're presenting a really good thing to the fans. This is cool. I like this a lot. The idea that Baron Corbin has freedom, creative control in NXT. For some of you, this might not be a big deal, but I'm going to explain why it is. For months and months and months, when I've talked about NXT 2.0 and now it's NXT 3.0, with the yellow and white era, the thing is, when you have main roster stars come to NXT, you have the ability to experiment. And this idea that you could go into NXT and experiment and see what works is so beneficial to the WWE because Baron Corbin is a longtime veteran in the WWE now. He's been there for a while. And this guy is an incredibly talented guy. But it just seems like he can never get past that upper mid-card status. And I don't think that's Baron Corbin's fault. I think a lot of it has to do with the way Vince booked him in the past. I think a lot of that has to do with just, in general, being there a long time. Timing of things, certain things, and whatnot. But this man has figured out a way to reinvent himself. And the stuff that he's doing in NXT is really cool. So the fact that we know it's actually coming from him and his mind is fantastic. But I think it says a lot about the WWE that if you're a person that goes to NXT, you might have the choice to experiment with your character and with the things that you want to do and the stories that you want to be in. And then those are the types of things where you can kind of bounce back to the main roster and have a whole new vision, a whole new plan of attack. And I think that is something that is not only unique, but it's something that is beneficial because there's people that could actually benefit from it. Like Baron Corbin could benefit from it because it gives him a fresh new coat of paint, but also WWE benefits from it because it's not like Baron Corbin is constantly on Raw and SmackDown doing these ridiculous storylines that maybe people have thought of in the past. So at the end of the day, this is the type of stuff I want to see from WWE. Go experiment in NXT. Especially with these people from the NIL and stuff like that. Give them multiple gimmicks. Try different things. See what's working. See what's not working until something clicks. Braun Breaker is a good example. Braun Breaker was good as a babyface. As a heel, he pretty much sold it to everybody that this is what he should be doing. There's a lot of good things that could come from that. I want to see more. And that brings us to our final story of today's video, guys. There is some conflicting talk about Bray Wyatt and what WWE plans to do moving forward with Uncle Howdy. So we all know, unfortunately, Bray Wyatt passed away. For a while, there was rumors that WWE and Triple H were going to try and bring in the Firefly Funhouse. They were going to try to bring in Uncle Howdy on TV. And then now there is some stuff that came from Meltzer. And it sounds like Meltzer is speculating here. But Meltzer is kind of speculating that Bo Dallas is done with the WWE because it was kind of done as a favor for Bray Wyatt. Things like that. There's obviously a lot of conflicting stuff here. And I think Uncle Howdy is a incredible character. I don't know how that's portrayed without Bray Wyatt in the WWE. I don't know how the WWE creatively tells the story of Uncle Howdy without Bray Wyatt. But I love Bo Dallas. And part of me just wants to say this because I feel like it could be such a good thing for the WWE to do this. But if you have WWE doing a storyline with Uncle Howdy, building the Wyatt Six, and you're doing this in hopes of, actually doing it because of Bray Wyatt and honoring Bray Wyatt, I think in this type of scenario, if you were to do this, the one positive that comes out of it is that WWE can continue to honor Bray Wyatt's legacy, but also help out his family. And that's a big one. So I know Dave Meltzer speculating that Uncle Howdy isn't there. He's not going to be around. I know there's other rumors that suggest WWE is looking at bringing him back and doing some stuff with the faction. At the end of the day, the benefit will always be with this type of character and this type of storyline being on TV, merchandise and everything could actually go back to the family of Bray Wyatt, and that would be really good. I can't speak for Bo Dallas. Does he want to do this? Does he not want to do this? We don't know. These are just what people are talking about. But at the same time, I do think Bo Dallas is an incredible character. I think he's an incredible superstar. I think he could do really good stuff with Uncle Howdy. It will feel weird without Bray Wyatt. But if this is something that can actually financially help the Bray Wyatt family, I don't think there is a problem with it. Now, with that being said, we'll see how it all goes down. Don't forget, I'm giving away this championship belt once I hit 100,000 subscribers, so go ahead and click subscribe today.